Russell Brand has responded in more depth on his podcast regarding the serious allegations that he's facing, as his lawyers fear U.S. charges may be coming soon. But is Russell actually more afraid of Katy Perry? Let's discuss. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. Thanks everybody who watched my last video on this topic. I urge you to watch that first so you can understand why I'm reporting this story, maybe a little bit more biased than other stories. I'm not going to hide that from you, but we have reported on this story previously, and I urge you to check out my video deep diving into Katy Perry and what she knows about Russell Brand. I bring this up because literally the day before these charges dropped, Russell Brand out of nowhere talks about how Katy Perry, there wasn't anything off key with her, nor was she involved in anything nefarious. Our marriage didn't work out for normal human reasons. I have nothing but respect for her. Plus my daughters love Katy Perry. Look, I can't not see the timing of this. This feels manipulative, just like a lot of things that he's doing, his response that we're going to play in a second. They do feel manipulative to me. And I say this because while you can watch the whole video over there, and I'll link it at the end of this video so you can go over there, I got to reshare this one quote that she said to Vogue after their divorce. When I met him, he wanted an equal. And I think that lots of times strong men do want an equal, but then they get that equal and they're like, I can't handle the equalness. He didn't like the atmosphere of me being the boss on tour. So that was really hurtful, and it was very controlling, which was upsetting. I felt a lot of responsibility for it ending, but then I found out the real truth, which I can't necessarily disclose because I keep it locked in a safe, in her safe, for a rainy day. Now that feels like a threat to me. I don't know about you. And it's not just this quote. It's not just this quote. As I go through some of the lyrics, etc., there's a lot of backed up data that seems to imply she's held a lot about Russell Brand just in case she ever needs to pull that. So to see Russell Brand come out and right as this is about to drop, plant the flag of, we love you, Katy Perry. My daughters love you, Katy. I got no problem with you, please. Girl got dumped via text on tour by him. So there's a lot to unpack there, and we'll see if Katy Perry comes forward. But right now, Russell's facing a lot. So while I do believe he's afraid of what she could say, his lawyers are also afraid that he could be charged in the U.S. as well, as now Warner Brothers has stepped up and says they will release footage from the film Arthur. And that's where one of the accusers, now I don't know each of these accusers, just because I do believe my friend. I really do, guys. Not for clout reasons, not for any other reasons. She told me this story before Popcorn Planet launched. I believe it, okay? And she doesn't want any clout. And she's doesn't want the money and doesn't really want to come forward based on a lot of the responses that they're out there. I don't blame her. But someone on the set of Arthur now claims that there was, bad behavior. He indecently exposed himself, and then she alleges that took her into a bathroom where then she was essayed, and a producer stood outside to make sure no one else came in. Now, I don't know if that's going to be on the footage. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. But I've heard some stories from that film as well. And I think he has a lot he probably doesn't remember, is what I will say. And in his response, he kind of admits that, guys. He does. I want to play his response now. I'm going to offer my commentary here because I do see a little bit of manipulation here. I do. Now, granted, I'm looking at it from a different perspective because of my own emotions. I'm not hiding that from you. Every time I report on this, I will share that with you, and you can either accept that or not, or tune in and watch something else. But I want to play this, and I want to show some of the red flags that I'm noticing.
Hello, you Awakening Wonders. Thanks for joining me today for Stay Free with Russell Brand. And how long will I be free for?
Now, right there. Did you name the whole show knowing this was coming and that you can eventually say that? We'll see if I'm free. We got to stay free. Keep me free. Again, how long? We'll see how long I remain free. He's already planting them seeds.
I'm going to address as best I can the charges of sexual assault
and
that have been made against me. What I feel when looking at it with my heart as open as I can manage is that knowing that there are people that to whatever degree and for whatever reason willing to participate in a venture of this nature means that I recognize that I must have in some ways caused harm.
Yeah, well, there it is. There. Thank you, Russell. Finally, at least acknowledging that. I must have caused some harm. He just did it. He just admitted it.
In those giddy and hedonistic days, those ludicrous dark days, those days where I was part of a culture that then seemed to warmly applaud and celebrate Epicureanism, the relentless pursuit of pleasure, a kind of casual godlessness, the kind of godlessness that leads to the erection, forgive the word, of false gods everywhere.
Now, look, there's so much he's saying, but the beginning of that part, the world applauded me at that time. He's not lying there. Talk shows, celebrities. Oh, look how flirty Russell Brand. Let's put girls right next to him. And all the girls just had to sit there. And I'm sure some of them liked it. I'm not going to deny that. But I'm sure some of them are pretending to like it because they didn't know what else to do. Because what I'm so shocked by in a lot of the comments and defending of Russell, that everybody asked for it. Everybody wants this. And everyone should just has the confidence and ability to say no and this is wrong, and then they don't understand what it means when someone does that, and all the people then come to try to jab at them and say, no, you're a liar, you did this. It's so much more complicated than people want to blame than think, and so they blame the victim always. And sadly, a lot of victims aren't actually victims. It is true. That's the pickle we're currently in. But we got to look at each case separately. And I'm trying my best to look at this case. And now, not only is he blaming the community and the Hollywood world that allowed it and applauded it, it's also the godless world. So it's religion, it's blaming Hollywood and deep state, all this stuff. They're the bad guys, not me. I found God. I'm okay. It doesn't matter what I did. It's how I see all this.
1 minute, this is your idol. The next minute, this is your idol. Fall down, bow down, and worship at their corporate and consumer altars. When I was in that world, I must have been captured by a kind of darkness. But remember, for 22 and a half years, I've been drug and alcohol free, and I have a pretty good memory of accounts. And I also know that...
A couple things I want to say there. First, I will applaud. If he really has been sober for 22 years, bravo, dude. Good for you. Maybe you are actually bettering yourself. I don't watch him enough to know, but I will take that for what it is. And if that's the case, that's really hard to do. And good for him. I hope that's true. Now, you can't keep blaming, though, the deep state and everything else. You still are responsible for your own actions. Now, he has a pretty good memory, he said. A pretty good memory. So take that as it is. He's acknowledging now he doesn't remember it all. And I'm sure he doesn't.
I am a person that very much respects the idea of consent. And I pray that over the coming months, when I participate with full volition and total cooperation in any legal inquiry, we'll get to see how the justice system operates in the United Kingdom.
Now, right there, he believes in consent. I'm sure he does now. It seems like he does now. I would argue, based on things I'm learning, and I do believe, I don't think he did believe that then, because he was godless in a dark state and usually on substances, and he's acknowledging that he did harm. I don't believe he really realizes, or maybe he did and it's even worse, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying my best. I don't think he was in a good enough mental space to know whether he was actually giving consent every time. That is what I stand by.
The allegations, just so you know, the charges, in fact, relate to events between 1999 and 2004. You probably won't even have heard of me until, I don't know, 2005, 2006. You know, so it's...
Yeah, because you only found me now when I found Jesus and became super conservative and blamed the deep state. Yeah, it's true. I'm guessing a lot of his fans now have no idea who Russell Brand was then. That's true.
It means that when you heard of me, these things are already alleged to have taken place. So all the time that I was married to Katy Perry, all the time that the Me Too movement was happening, all the time, remember when I was talking openly about the coronavirus and the corruption during the coronavirus era? It's interesting to me that once I was on the radar of the deep state and many of their affiliates within media, because the media and the government are not separate entities.
But buzzwords, deep state, media, government, they hate me so much that they're faking all this. This is the most frustrating debate I've had with his fans. As if the deep state gives an S about Russell Brand. My man, you're a diet Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was doing far more against the deep state than you were, and no one's leveling any charges against him. And there are countless other conservative and other independent voices that have been far more vocal against big pharma and all of that, the Rona, all of it. that aren't being charged like you with multiple people, my dude. So this whole excuse that they're out to get him is cult-like. I'll say it. It is very cult-like. Yeah. Now, I have no doubt that the deep state doesn't like him and others are annoyed maybe, but I also don't think they care enough. I really don't. And I don't think this was all made up. They've paid off all these women to come forward. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense excuse.
The media and the institutions of power are not separate entities. We know that now. We'll start off by looking at the United Kingdom. There is time and evidently resources to look at alleged incidents, in my case, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And by the way, I don't believe in that statute of limitations stuff. I think if someone committed a crime 20 years ago, 30 years ago, if a crime was committed, the person should be held accountable.
His fans aren't going to like hearing that because that's also the biggest fight back I've gotten. Oh my God, this is 25 years ago. These women are idiots. Well, they should have spoke up. Otherwise, screw them. Like violent, vicious responses from people. How dare these women wait 20 years? Oh my God, it's so heartbreaking to read these ignorant comments. And Russell Brand, your man, your fan, just said that's nonsense. I should still be held accountable no matter how long ago it was. So I will give him credit for that one.
Justice. I believe in justice. I believe in integrity. I believe in truth. Why? Because I believe in God. I believe that we're here to love one another. But I don't believe the media believe that. And I don't believe the institutions in democracy in the United Kingdom are acting like truth, freedom, and the sanctity of the human spirit are a priority right now. Yeah, what do you like? I became a Christian preempting that charges would appear from deep history.
Absolutely, you could have done that. Absolutely, you created this against the pharma big things because you knew this was coming. You knew your life. You knew the way you lived. This idea that it's a joke, it's conspiratorial, that we might have this idea that you did this before and you knew this was coming is laughable, dude. You really think your audience is dumb because you'll believe every other conspiracy, but that one? The people who are Russell Brand fans, how can you, if I thought we're free thinkers and believe in anything, but the idea that Russell might be the manipulator here is a laughable?
I acted hedonistically, knowing that in retrospect it would all pay off.
Yes, I do believe that full force.
Not to reflect that indeed the people participating in this are victims of a type, but not victims of me, because I've always been open. You can go and watch my stand-up comedy. You can read my book. I couldn't have been more clear that I was out there having sex with anybody who wanted to. And let me tell you, when you're a famous guy, people are up for it. People are up for it.
It's their fault. They wanted me. They always wanted me. That can give you a big head. That can give you a big head. You think everybody wants you. You do. And so you flirt and push everybody. And sometimes people look up to you. And I'll admit, I've made that mistake in my past when I was over at Screen Junkies. And while I didn't do anything and nothing was ever proved because I proved the opposite, yeah, you think your fans all want you like that. But they don't, Russell. They don't.
I'll be honest with you, that was part of the reason I even bothered becoming famous in the first place, because I thought this will be a glorious opportunity for hedonistic adventure. Surely then my life will mean something. Surely I can find some value in the comfort of strangers. Surely I can lose myself in endless pleasure.
Yeah, and you think that at the time. You do. That's valid.
Well, you know, as a follower of Jesus Christ, I recognize that sex is a very, very powerful force. In fact, it says in the Bible that sex should only be practiced within the confines of a loving marriage because the force is...
So now he's just, again, red flag city. Like, look, no disrespect to people who found Jesus or religion. I'm not here to knock any of that. What I am going to knock is this man who I do feel like is using religion and finding Jesus as his excuse and way to get away with past behavior that he's acknowledged in the video. He said it. We just went through it at the beginning of this. Go rewind it. And I do believe that there's a lot more coming. I do believe Katy Perry knows the truth. It's why she hasn't chimed in on this. I do believe he's preemptively doing things to get ahead of it. I do. That's my beliefs. And I will be looking at this case knowing that going into this. So just know that. But I urge you to go watch this video, which I'll put towards the end. And I'll actually put both videos. If you want to see my last video responding on why I have all these opinions, you can click that too. Make sure you hit the subscribe though. Make sure you hit the bell for all alerts. and smash that thumbs up and leave your comments. We will be live today at 3 p.m. I'm going to be on time today, 3 p.m. Eastern. I hope to see you there. We'll talk about this and some updates with Blake and Justin and more. So I hope to see you there. In the meanwhile, click on the videos. You got Katy Perry there up top, and then you got the update from yesterday down below. Click on them, subscribe, stay tuned, and join us live at 3 p.m. Eastern.